My name is Catherine, and I am about to unfold a story that chills my very core, a story woven with shadows, whispers, and the unrelenting grip of fear. For years, my visits to my grandmother's old house were filled with warmth and love. But recently, those visits transformed into something I could not quite comprehend, something that left me questioning my reality. Every summer, I would spend time at my grandmother's quaint home nestled on the outskirts of a sleepy town. The house, with its creaky wooden floors and walls adorned with faded family portraits, felt like a portal to a bygone era. My grandmother, a sprightly woman in her late 70s with silver hair and vibrant blue eyes, always greeted me with open arms, her warmth enveloping me like a cozy blanket. But lately, a peculiar sensation began to creep over me each time I stepped over the threshold. The first incident occurred during a seemingly ordinary afternoon. I had just settled into my room, a small, cozy space decorated with floral wallpaper and an ancient rocking chair. As I read a book, I noticed a strange chill in the air. Then it happened. A soft whisper seemed to float through the room, brushing against my ear like a secret. I froze, heart racing, looking around to see if it was merely a trick of the wind. "Catherine, are you all right?" My grandmother's voice broke through my reverie. She stood at the door, concern etched on her face. I forced a smile, trying to brush off the unsettling sensation. "Just lost in a story, Grandma," I replied, though inside, doubt gnawed at me. That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Whenever I closed my eyes, I imagined shadows creeping across the walls, dancing with the flickering light of the bedside lamp. Days passed, and the occurrences escalated. One evening, while my grandmother was in the kitchen preparing dinner, I decided to explore the attic, a place I had been warned to avoid. Curiosity bubbled within me, urging me to seek the source of the strange occurrences. As I climbed the creaky stairs, the air thickened, carrying a musty smell that made my skin crawl. Once inside the attic, dust motes shimmered in the dim light filtering through a tiny window. Old trunks lay scattered across the floor, each brimming with forgotten memories. I stumbled upon a peculiar wooden box, intricately carved with symbols I did not recognize. My instincts fired. It was as if the box pulsed with energy. I reached out, fingers trembling, but a sudden noise startled me. A loud crash came from downstairs. "Catherine!" My grandmother's voice echoed, filled with urgency. I hurried down, heart racing, only to find her standing in the living room, a broom in hand, staring at the wall. Confused, I followed her gaze to see a shadow flitting across the room, too quick to be anything real. "Did you see that?" I stammered, eyes wide. "It's just the light," she replied dismissively, clearly shaken but trying to maintain her composure. "Let's finish dinner." Even as we sat at the dinner table, the atmosphere felt heavy, and I could swear I felt cold fingers brushing against my shoulder. I shot nervous glances around the room, but my grandmother remained engrossed in her food, seemingly oblivious to the shift in energy. That night, as I lay in bed, sleep evaded me. Shadows danced along the walls, flickering in the dim light from the hallway. It wasn't just the shadows, I could hear whispers, faint murmurs that seemed to call my name. "Catherine! Catherine!" The voice was both familiar and alien, sending shivers down my spine. The next day, my curiosity drove me to investigate my grandmother's past. I combed through the old family albums, searching for clues about her life before me. Each photo told a story of happiness, but some images felt unsettling. In many, my grandmother stood beside strange symbols carved into trees or etched in soil. "Grandma, what do these symbols mean?" I ventured later that evening, hoping for answers. She paused, a shadow crossing her features. "Just old traditions from our ancestors, nothing to be concerned about." "But I feel something strange lately." I hesitated, trying to express my fear without sounding foolish. "Things have been happening around the house." Her eyes flashed with a mix of irritation and concern. "You're just letting your imagination run wild. This house holds memories and energy, that's all." but I sensed she was hiding something deeper. That night, I found myself unable to resist the pull of the attic. I had to know what lay within that wooden box. Cautiously, I ascended the stairs, determination igniting within me. The air was heavier than before, pressing against my chest as if warning me to turn back. Once more, I approached the box, my heart racing in rhythm with my anxious thoughts. I lifted the lid to reveal an array of odd items, herbs, small glass vials, and what appeared to be pages torn from an ancient book. I recognized symbols identical to those in the photographs. Their meanings felt ominous, swirling around me like a storm. Just as I grasped one of the vials, a deafening crash resounded behind me. I spun around, breath caught in my throat, to see a figure in the shadows. My grandmother stood in the doorway, her expression morphed into one of rage and fear. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, her voice low and menacing. "You shouldn't have come. You have no idea what you're meddling with." "Grandma, I just wanted to understand. There's something wrong in this house," I pleaded, the fear coursing through my veins. "Why are you hiding this from me?" She took a step forward, eyes blazing. "You don't understand the power that comes with these practices. It's inherited, Catherine, and it's not something to be trifled with. You shouldn't have seen this." My heart raced as a sense of dread washed over me. It became painfully clear that my grandmother was not just a kindly old woman. The stories of whispers and shadows were not figments of my imagination, they were part of a much darker truth. "I need to leave. You're scaring me," I shouted, backing away. I turned to flee down the attic stairs, but she lunged forward, grasping my arm with surprising strength. The look in her eyes was one of desperation tempered by something darker. "You can't leave, Catherine. You're part of this too." Driven by a primal instinct, I wrenched my arm free and bolted down the stairs. Panic surged through me as I rushed toward the front door, my heart pounding in my chest. The house felt alive, shadows erupting from every corner as I flew through the hallway. "Catherine." My grandmother called, her voice echoing with an otherworldly quality. "You can't run from your destiny." Fumbling with the lock, my hands shook as I fought to escape the clutches of whatever dark force had taken root in that home. Just as I managed to turn the knob, I felt a chilling presence behind me. "Please, stop," I cried, glancing over my shoulder. But the intensity in her gaze sent a wave of terror cascading over me. "I don't want any part of this." With one final push, I burst through the door and ran into the night, the fresh air filling my lungs like a lifeline. I sprinted down the path leading away from the house, desperately searching for a sense of safety. Behind me, I could hear my grandmother's distant voice calling my name, melding with the whispers of the shadows that had haunted me. As I reached the edge of her property, I stopped, breathless and trembling. I dared to look back one last time, heart racing. The house loomed like a specter, a fortress of secrets and darkness. The light in my grandmother's room flickered ominously, as though promising more than I ever wanted to know. I knew I couldn't return, not while there was a lingering thread of whatever ancient practices she had entangled herself in. I fled into the night, determined to forge a path away from the shadows and into the light. In the weeks that followed, I carried the weight of what I had discovered. I sought the advice of friends and researchers, trying to piece together the strange symbols and practices that had ensnared my grandmother. Each clue unraveled more threads of the family's history, a legacy filled with power, fear, and haunting shadows. Eventually, I decided to break the cycle. With newfound strength, I vowed to educate myself, turning my fear into resolve. I would not allow the darkness of my grandmother's past to dictate my future. Maybe one day, I could repair the link, but for now, I knew that some doors should remain closed, and some shadows should never be embraced. My journey was only just beginning, a quest to overcome the haunting specters that swim through my family's lineage. I would confront the darkness with light, become the guardian of my own fate, and finally, break the chains that bound me to the shadows of the past. Please, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.